Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Wade and this is the 996 Guy channel. I make videos about my 2003 Porsche 996, and in this video I wanted to talk about if my 2003 Porsche 996 had bore scoring. If my mechanic, hypothetically, if my mechanic told me that it had major scoring, it was hypothetically burning a lot of oil and smoking a lot and all of the symptoms that go along with major bore scoring, what would I do? And wanted to talk about what your options could be if you have a 996 that has bore scoring. So there's a lot of things that you can do depending on how bad the bore scoring is. I'd say the cheapest thing that you can do if you've got major bore scoring is you can re-sleeve the cylinders. I spoke to a gentleman earlier this year. I don't remember his name. I met him at a Porsche Club of America. I think it was a drive or a meetup or something. And he told me that he had bore scoring and he had the cylinders re-sleeved. So it's basically a partial rebuild on the engine. And he had the cylinders re-sleeved, and it came to about $4,000. So I think that's probably the cheapest way to remedy the whole bore scoring. But the only problem with that is that he just re-sleeved the cylinders. He didn't replace the pistons, the piston rods. I'm assuming he didn't replace the fuel injectors, any of that. And that can, because those parts wear out as well, that can potentially cause problems in the future for him. And if I were to do that, it would fix the bore score problem, but it wouldn't be a long-term solution. You can still run into problems later on down the road. The second thing that I could do is a full engine rebuild, and I know that those run on the cheap end for about $15,000. That's probably the cheapest dirt cheap full rebuild that you can get, and I don't think that includes labor. I've seen through the forums and online that $15,000 is just for the parts. And then with labor, it probably comes to another like $10,000 or so. So you'd be in it for about $25,000. And you'd have a rebuilt engine, and you could enjoy the car worry-free for years and years, decades to come. And that, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially because these cars are only worth about, on the cheap end, about $20,000, and then a well-maintained low-mileage 996 Carrera can go for about 35, maybe pushing 40 if it's really low miles. But if you're spending $25,000 on an engine rebuild, that's kind of tough to justify rebuilding an engine. You would have to really love the car in order to do something like that. Then another option is to do a full rebuild, but then pay more for upgrades to the engine. A lot of people will upgrade to a larger engine. So instead of the 3.6 that this car has, they move up to a 4.0. They put special pistons in the newer cars, the newer engines, and just do overall upgrades and modifications to improve the performance of these cars. Again, I don't know why anybody would want to do that to base 996 Carrera, but to each their own. Some people, they don't care. Another option for those of you that have engine troubles with these cars is the swaps. So some people will swap Corvette engines into the 996 Carreras. I've heard of Audi engines being swapped in, and that is that's an option, but to me that defeats the purpose of owning a 911. If I have a 911, I want a 911 engine. You know, I don't want just the shell and then have some other engineered engine, you know, some American engineered car engine in the 911 Carrera. That would be dead last on my list. You know, I'd rather sell the car as is than swap, like do like an LS swap or anything like that. And then the next option is taking another 996 engine and then swapping it into your current car. So basically finding a used 996 engine and then putting it into your current engine or into your current car. And I think that is probably the most unreliable way to go about this. You don't know what, especially with these cars, you don't know what is wrong with that engine. You don't know how the engine was treated. You don't know anything about it. Even if somebody tells you, you do not know unless you took care of that engine yourself. I personally would not do that. I personally would not do that. I would not trust another 996 engine to be put into these cars, because you could end up in the same spot. You could end up with catastrophic engine failure a few thousand miles down the road after you've spent thousands of dollars putting a used engine into your car. So what would I do? Well, I guess there's two different things. There's two things that I'm talking about here. There's catastrophic failure, and then there's the bore scoring. With bore scoring, if my engine was severely bore scored, if the cylinders were really bad, I think I would just sell the car. I would let the buyer know that there's major bore scoring going on with the car. I would probably sell it at a lower price because, the engine is pretty much going out, and then I would buy something else. And then if there was catastrophic failure and the car is just a giant paperweight, then I would, man, that's a tough one. I think I would do an engine rebuild, because I think at that point I would lose too much money selling the car as a roller, and I would have to buy something else anyways. So at that point I might as well just rebuild the engine. Again, that would be a tough pill to swallow, but I would choose that over just taking the car and selling the shell, basically. So then the question becomes, what would I buy? If I were to sell the car, like if there's bore scoring and I were to sell it, what would I move on to? And lately I have been kind of thinking about this. Even if I don't get rid of this car, I have thought about what my next car would be that I would own alongside this car. And I think I'll save that for another video. I have some ideas and I kind of want to think about them for a while before I put it into a video, but something fun. It would be a fun car. And I have a BMW now. It's a 3 Series. I like that car a lot. It's been very, very reliable. Knock on wood, knock on leather. It's been very reliable, and I don't want to get rid of that either, but I would get rid of that before I get rid of this. So I will think about it, and then I'll make a video, and then I'll put it out. So there it is. I'm gonna wipe it up real quick before I drive off. And those are the options. Those are our options. And when I say our, I mean 996 owners or future 996 owners. If you have engine problems, if you have bore scoring, or if you have catastrophic failure, you can do one of those things that I mentioned in the video. It's blue hour now as I do this walk around. This is kind of my thing. I do a walk around at the end of each video or before the video. So because it's blue hour, it's going to make for some good photos. So I might go drive to a location here in LA and try and get get some good shots. If you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.